What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So we're going to take a look and a listen to Representative Porter. She is the deputy chair of the Progressive Caucus. Now, it's very important that we focus on the Progressive Caucus because they are the ones that have been talking about the forced stimulus check, the monthly payments, the $200 raise for Social Security. They have been at the forefront when it's come to these different proposals. So we need to focus on them and watch what they're saying to see if they're giving us any hints. So we need to continue watching them, because if we are to see any of these proposals, this forced stimulus check or anything like that, it's going to be coming from the Progressive Caucus. So that's why we need to focus on them. So we're going to take a look and a listen to Representative Porter. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my picture and my name in the comment section, make sure you also see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look and a listen to Representative Porter. She's going to be talking about the second infrastructure bill, so this human infrastructure bill. Here we go.
For our discussion tonight is Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter of California. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it with these very important votes in the House today. So I have to say, I didn't feel a lot of suspense in the maneuver that the 10 House Democrats were trying to use as leverage against Nancy Pelosi. It seemed, and by the way, they seemed kind of reasonable about being willing to compromise. They used ultimatum language, but also compromise language at the same time. And so you're now moving forward. Is it fair to say that the Biden infrastructure bills are on track now in the House of Representatives?
Today, we moved forward three key priorities. And these are the priorities that House Democrats ran on, that President Biden ran on. And those priorities were to protect voting rights, to repair our infrastructure, and to strengthen our economy so it can compete globally. And today's vote moved all three of those priorities forward. Speaker Pelosi has been clear from the beginning that we were going to deliver President Biden's jobs plan and his family's plan together, because we understand that those things are connected. And what today's vote did is really set that process up, just as we had expected it to go.
I want to listen to something that President Biden said today about how this is paid for.
And this is all paid for. Instead of giving every break in the world to corporations and CEOs, by the way, 55 of our largest companies in America paid $0 in federal taxes on more than $40 billion in profit last year. We can ask corporations and the very wealthy just to pay their fair share. They can still be very wealthy. They can still make a lot of money, but just begin to pay their fair share.
This is a concept that is polling very strongly. Usually the pay-for side of legislation is the part that doesn't poll so well. But Americans seem to support the concept of the fair share being paid, especially by rich corporations.
Well, of course they should. Everybody should pay their fair share. Those largest corporations make extensive use of our infrastructure, our roads, our ports, and our bridges. They sell to U.S. consumers. They take advantage of our American workforce, so the public education that our workforce receives. So it's not surprising to me that everybody thinks that tax fairness is an important concept. I think this is something that you're seeing in polling and you're hearing on the ground. I'm certainly hearing this, that Democrats, Republicans, independents, tax fairness is about having a strong, stable, healthy economy. If we want to compete globally, we need to make some of these investments in paid family leave, in child care, in our infrastructure. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this bill.
Are there pieces that got knocked out of the Senate bipartisan bill that will find their way into the budget reconciliation bill?
Absolutely. The bill that the House sent over to the Senate on infrastructure contained a lot more investments in clean energy, in combating climate change, in coastal resilience, in working on drought resilience. A lot of those things came out with the Senate's bipartisan process. So those are exactly the kinds of priorities, the things that need to be done to protect our planet, to strengthen our economy, that the House is going to be looking to work with our Senate counterparts on to put in the budget process. And the committee structure is going to have the ability right now. I sit on the Natural Resources Committee. We're having discussions not only about what we want to put in the budget reconciliation process, but also how we're going to pay for it.
Okay, so what she's talking about here, just if you didn't catch it, The House actually voted on the first infrastructure bill, and they passed it and sent it over to the Senate. And the Senate made changes to that first infrastructure bill, and they started negotiating, and they got to a point where they had this bipartisan group that came together and said, okay, this is how we're going to move forward. And once they got that bipartisan group to vote on this first infrastructure bill, they took out some things. They took out some things that the House already had in this bill. And so now what the House wants to do is they want to add those things to the second infrastructure bill. And so that's what she's talking about here. But in a minute, she's going to talk a little bit about some of the other things that they want to add to this bill. So here we go.
And what is the schedule for the committees reporting back so that the budget reconciliation bill can be voted on in the House? Is that a September vote?
I think that's going to be a September vote. We go back and we're going to be there in Washington for 2 weeks at the end of September. We're hearing, I think we'll see different committees come forward at different times. But I suspect that we'll start to see some of the contours of this legislation come forward here after Labor Day and up through September 15th or so. The goal is to give Congress members on both sides of the aisle and both the House and the Senate a chance to be in conversation to flush out these plans. The president has laid out key priorities. He talked about 2 free years of community college. He talked about tax fairness. He talked about, addressing paid family leave, child care. Now we have to get down to exactly what that's going to look like on the ground. What are the programs going to look like? Are they going to be universal? Are they going to help everybody? What can we do on prescription drugs? What can we do to expand vision and dental and hearing coverage to seniors? We know what our priorities are. Now we're going to figure out how we're going to deliver them and how we're going to pay for them.
So that was the last part of the clip there. Now, you notice she didn't talk about certain things. She didn't talk about a forced stimulus check, no direct payments. She didn't mention anything about a $200 raise for Social Security. That doesn't mean that they're not in there. That just means that right now we don't know how they're going to move with this. Okay, the Progressive Caucus, like I said, we need to focus on those members because those members in the past have been the ones that have been talking about these things. And so as the deputy chair, you would think, okay, she's going to start putting some more information out there when it comes to their priorities and what they want in this second infrastructure bill. But as of right now, we have not heard any more information. Politicians really aren't talking about these things. And I just want to bring that to your attention. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I'm just saying politicians are going to need to start talking about this stuff in order for these things to gain some momentum and start getting some co-sponsors. If they don't get co-sponsors, it's not going to move anywhere. So I just wanted to show this clip to you guys. Representative Porter, she is the deputy chair. So there's the chairperson, and she's right underneath the chairperson when it comes to the Progressive Caucus. And right now, we're not hearing much when it comes to some of the things that people have been waiting for. So if you guys have any questions, post them down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.